Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a great way to start out. All right, hi
I was
guys.
going to say I'm almost at the goatee stage of my career, but we're not quite there until like near the end.
Mm-hmm.
The goatee season, famous for the loss of hair, the gain of hair. It went somewhere. Went to attitude. Because what we're doing today.
Deep Space Nine, Season 3. So we're doing.
Possibly considered, a good season. Maybe. So I'm genuinely interested to talk about this. Not all the other ones, but like I feel like we've arrived, right? We've been very patient all of these 2 weeks. Our patience has been rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3.
Yes.
Disney.
Disney.
DSN. Desna. Desna. There you go. With Na. Visitor. And we visited. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
Disney.
Maybe. Yes.
Sounds like a sneeze.
Yes.
Disney.
Goes in tight.
Anyhow, yes. This is viewer's choice. You guys get to dictate what we look at next
Or not.
episode-wise.
Ironically.
Yeah, you could sit here and look at a blank screen for the entire time if you wanted.
That would be weird, but it could.
Yeah.
Let me get sharing while you reiterate what we're doing the weekend. La, huzzah, all the things. See you in a second.
Yeah, guys. So on Sunday, if you're just joining us, on Sunday we'll be doing our Trekyards review of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan Director's Cut. So join us for that in the afternoon on Sunday. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're able to make it, please do. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of that content or any of our edited content. And hit the like button. We have 13 of you here and 7 likes. Let's get those likes up to 20 if we can right away. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Please do so. Also, there is a join button down there on YouTube. You can click that to join the channel here on YouTube, or head over to Patreon/Trekyards. That's another way to support us on a monthly basis. It all adds up. It all helps us out and helps us continue to make this content for you guys and hang out with you guys. And, it's talk Trek. That's what we want to do. That's what you guys want to do. Help us out. As for today, like I said, you can super chat in to let us know which episode of season 3 you'd like us to discuss next. There are quite a few good episodes this season, and it'll be interesting to take a wander down the memory lane here and see where they fall in the ranking category. So you guys have the power to tell us which one's next and what you want to talk about, and which is your favorite episodes, or your least favorite. I don't know. Whatever you want to throw it our way. And you can do so by, like I said, super chatting in. So yeah, lots of ways to support and help us out. Also, there are links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store where you can grab yourself some cool Trekyards merch, as well as other merch and cool stuff. So check out those links. Go take a look, and be one with the links. Do the things. So yes, Deep Space Nine, Season 3 today. This is kind of where it gets good. I think the attitude's ramped up a little bit in this season, and things kind of start to get a little bit better and good. And it'll be interesting to see what we surmise based on. We've already looked at season 1 and 2, and a few surprises, I guess, there. But yeah, this will be interesting. This is kind of where I tell people, if you want to get into Deep Space Nine, kind of check out season 3. It's a good place to start. I hate saying it because character development is important, so you should watch it just from the beginning. But I can see how some of the first season or 2 might put people off. So, yeah.
Or at least has some less amazing. Because we found some diamonds, we found some rubies, and we found some,
Cubic zirconia.
Wow.
And some dirt.
Oh, I don't find dirt. I don't know. All right, let me do a poll as well. About season 3.
Yes.
Okay.
You can do it. So yeah, guys, hit that like button. 14 of you here, 10 likes. Awesome. Let's try to get to 20. Like I said, if you haven't hit like yet, please do so. 5 of you, at least 5 of you haven't. So hit that like button. The numbers dropped to 15. It's like, no, everybody that didn't hit like and got called out just left. No. It's okay. But yes. Where are we going to start this test question?
Okay, hard to summarize complex episodes, but I did something. So,
which is about a 2-parter in season 3: The Search, Finding the Dominion, or Future Tense, Time Travel Issues.
It's such a pass, isn't it? You know what I meant. Past tense. You know what I meant. The one with them. So, when you say season 3 of Deep Space Nine, what jumps to mind? Because I, for some reason, in my head I thought this is the Worf season, because if that's season 4, there's only 4, 5, 6, I said 4 seasons, but there's a lot less of the show than... This is the pre-Worf, still the core thing. So what do you think when you say season 3?
I think Defiant, and I think Goatee. Badassery. But still not badass, because that's when he shaves his head, which is the next season. So yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is kind of where I think I tell people it gets good this season. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the sort of intriguing pre-war, Cold War with a giant massacre attempt by aliens at the Dominion. Like, this is when they're not all out warring us, but every other episode is kind of adding to the tension. Because you meet them, you understand them, you get a lot of really like, oh, we've got a plan, we're learning about them, but we're still the station. It's still episodic, still the same crew. There's no big changes, and yet we have this giant approaching storm. But they're taking their time. Really, like, we'll do a pre-season, then we'll do a different war season, then a break, then a big war. Like, it's an interesting structured piece, in that all the stuff that will come is being set up here, but at a gentle pace. So it's an interesting pre-season, or pre-big stuff season. And of course Defiant with Sisko's terrible handrails of his side consoles, which become this lovely, crisp, arch-looking bleep bleeps. But in the first episode, just like a little pipe, and then some beep beeps.
Yeah.
It ain't great, but he. So I wonder if they not run out of money, but I guess just they had no time to build it properly. I don't know.
I think it might have been just an unfinished thing that they kind of were refining. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
It's unlikely they thought, that's gonna be a great set piece. I doubt that. So
yeah,
probably something else. All right, let's get the chart up, ready for people. Oh, slide says not register. There. Oh, that's weird. What do you guys think of DS9 Season 3?
Yeah, let us know. Super chat in with a episode so that we can start talking about it. You guys kind of lead the conversation in these lives, so do your thing.
I will start the chat with one random one. I'll just pick. I'll just get a picture and then see, kind of as random as you guys do it, because you probably move them a little bit. I'll try. Yeah.
Explorers.
The Solar Sailor. This is episode 22, Stuart. What do you think of season 3, episode 22?
This is an interesting one because it's kind of learn a little bit about the Cardassians and the Bajorans' history, and it's actually very cool that they had these solar sailors and that the Bajorans actually made it to Cardassia. Cardassian denies all that, and of course at the end it's like, oh, by the way, guess what our archaeologists just found? It's evidence that the Bajorans in fact made it here. Blah blah blah. Really great. It's also a good piece for Jake and Ben, because Jake doesn't really want to do anything with his dad necessarily. He's getting to that age, and then he decides to go along on this little excursion with him because his dad says it'll be fun, but he really wants to just talk to him about becoming a writer and not being in Starfleet. So it's a good kind of family like dad and son situation. I'm trying to think what the B plot is though on the station, because there's something else going on. But yeah, it's a good one. I like the solar sailor idea. I like the fact that he built this, and they're doing actual rigging for the sails and stuff like that. It's very much like a sea voyage, even the food packs, and it's really kind of a cool designed ship. The interior is quite interesting. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. So yeah, this is a fun one.
And the first goatee episode. It's kind of funny you mention it. Went straight into that one.
That too.
Yeah. VLC be not loading to then reskim. Yeah, this is, you have to want to spend time with the characters for this sort of thing to work. And you do. I think this one might be a little bit too indulgent on the limited character work, because all I think of this episode is Cisco gets a bit obsessed, builds a ship, they go and fly it. Mm-hmm. That's the plot, right? The small stuff might be great, but it's very indulgent in committing everything to that bit. I wish it was a bit more balanced. But I'm sure the actors loved it, right? It's great for them, but it's not, it's not giving me the stuff I necessarily want in full, while still being clever. As much, right?
Yeah, and I remembered what the side plot was. A fellow doctor comes aboard, and she was the valedictorian of Bashir's medical class. She actually got first place, best student kind of thing, because he mixed up a preganglion nerve with a whatever. And he's dealing with that. And there's a good scene with him and O'Brien because they get drunk and they talk about, I hated you when I first met you, and talking about this friendship with this lady, and he eventually confronts her at the end, and she's like, it wasn't a big deal. I don't really remember you. There was no competition between us, really.
In my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, although given his, brain powers, to think he made that mistake, I guess he intentionally made it to not look as if... He did it on
purpose, yeah.
Yeah, to not look so perfect.
Yeah.
So definitely, a fine enough B-plot. What I think this episode really benefits from is sort of the gentle twist, in that, yes, but Bajor found Cardassia first, they beat them to warp capable, these little, slave race in comparison to these big, high, mighty, and they've been saying no to it for years as a concept, and then they get there, and Ducat's like, well done, you've proved that this is a thing, now historians, and it's a really satisfying little moment, and knowing that in a very short amount of years, months, he'll then do bad things. It's fun to watch that as like a step, because boy, they try and put Ducat in quite a lot, which is great. So it's kind of those things I remember, but I don't, my favorite stuff is not the father son stuff. It's always good, but it's my favorite stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, what are you thinking for this one then? Because it's definitely pretty good. Does it get goatee points, etc.?
No, for me this is probably a C. This is like a good average episode. And Mr. Ree, yeah, the one with the lady in the wheelchair, that was last season.
Yeah. Which no one put in for, so it was not talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is probably a C for me. I don't think it's D-worthy at all.
No.
I love the end with Gul Dukat and the welcome by the Cardassians with the fireworks and stuff. It's quite a... Yeah.
I thought you were going to say B because you're a dad, and so it hits to you in a way that it can't hit to me.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was C, but I don't know if you're going to push for a B or even an A, because you might have thought the scenes were amazing. Yeah, go for a C, and then we'll see where contrast is. Yeah, Jade Knowlton, exactly. She thought Bashir was a Bolian. Goodness.
C.
Oh yes, Dan Ben, the holosail that comes out when the other prophet, the other emissary. That was clever. That was a good.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a good callback. Although, not to continue, but I'll wait for the guys to put the next one. But was Cisco dumb to keep it super authentic that it broke?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm of two minds of that. Like, if you're going to do something, do it correctly, like, genuinely, like how they did it. But at the same time, you got modern techniques and modern, stuff that you can build the same parts with. Sure, it wouldn't be as genuine, but it would be better.
Because I remember there was a line in there about how they can't put that many safety tech in because there's not enough space because it's so small.
Yeah.
So we're risking ourselves almost as much as they were, like this close. So if there's if an asteroid hits the shell, we're dead. If we lost in the middle of space, they've got a transponder and it's only between two warp capable races, but it's a bit risky. But then it proved the point, right? If they had made it custom, the end would have no weight. Because obviously you can do it now, you improved it. Exactly.
Yeah. 2060 here, 14 likes. Hit the like button, guys, and go vote in the poll. Also, super chat in, because don't even have one to talk about yet.
Yeah, we go where you guys want us to.
This is the good, one of the good. It's the first really good season, I would say.
What do you think of my screen caps I found? Because some of these, some were hard to find images for.
Overall pretty good. Yeah, there's one that I'm kind of confused about, but...
Ooh, which one?
The one beside Riker there, with the bright light.
Oh, yeah, well, I wanted to go if they were out of location. I'll put it next to the one it's next to. There you go. Those two are the two-parter. Yeah, it's that side and that side. Yeah, I definitely found this season was easy to find visuals that are memorable. There's more of a central focus, which I liked. Other seasons, less seem to be there. But for the most part, there was okay, yeah. Although, if I'm correct, if you're correct, is this chap the guy who's in the start of last season, who was part of the takeover everything?
The takeover of everything?
Of DS9. Was he one of the Bajorans? Was he the special guy who was found, who was freed, and then became the leader? That same actor?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
So I felt we just did that. I feel that's a callback, but I can't remember.
He's also the ghost from Sub Rosa.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see. Marco throws in $5.
Ooh.
I don't know if the two-parter would be for one super chat, but Through the Looking Glass and The Die is Cast, because it is, in my opinion, one storyline.
Only for one part, because only 26 we can do, so... Well, that's okay. So first part is with our friend here, which we did meet last season. So yeah,
It's not through the Looking Glass. Through the Looking Glass is the Mirror Universe one.
Oh, then why is he die as casting? I thought he meant as a... Okay, confused, but that's okay. Okay, Through the Looking Glass then. Yes, I didn't realise they're that back to back. Last season was the first one, so they were that committed to return. With, of course, the Smiley.
Isn't this the one where he comes through to steal the plans for the Defiant?
Well, that's the end. That's the reveal. Well, yes, I mean Steel and Cisco. Although they beam onto the Defiant anyway, as in the sets, so it's a little bit underwhelming. Like you're literally fighting in the Defiant before you steal the Defiant.
Yeah.
But anyway, and Jennifer.
This is another not Tim Russ one.
It
is Tuvok though.
It is Tuvok, yeah. He's just there.
Yeah.
There's no even reason necessarily. It wasn't. I don't know. It's not like he directed it or anything. Yeah, what do you think of the second Marine Universe plot and what happens?
I don't remember what happens, but we see Cisco get with Jadzia. That's it. Yeah, we get to meet Jennifer, who's still alive. This is the one I thought Smiley came aboard to get the plans for the Defiant.
Well, he does. You just learn that next time.
Oh.
Because they have to build it first.
Yeah, so I don't remember what else happens in this. Just
okay. From what I recall, this is about expanding the canon, and it's quite clever. They introduced the fact that you can now beam across universes. It's very easy. They steal Cisco because their version of Cisco died. Then you have to use him to do something special. And they thought if they can convert Jennifer, who's a loyalist to the new Empire, then she has all the plans. And it's really good to see her do something. The actress, the character. And you get to meet everyone else. They're like, right, we did the previous thing. Now we can have Bashir, we can have Tuvok, we can have all the different main cast do different things, and a Dax without, or Jadzia without Dax.
Yes.
And they're just having fun. This one is far less indulgent when it comes to. It's a one-off. Like they know this is going somewhere. They know there's a build-up. We're really committing a lot of stuff. But I do find using this is just nature of production. If they use a runabout, but like repaint it slightly to make it look a different ship, but it's like that's just a runabout. And again, the Defiant sets like that's just the Defiant beaming onto a mirror of ships. That's Defiant transport room. But that's a minor thing, right? They're not going to build a whole new set for this. I guess it canonizes that the Bajoran fighter has the runabout set there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely we're building the canon.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's not memorable for you though. Sounds like this did not.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Mirror Universe stuff in DS9. As odd as that sounds, because I love Mirror Universe stuff.
I think this compares to the previous one, which was very, singular and whatnot.
I think this one's better because we get to learn more about, even though it's a Mirror Universe version, but Jennifer, and to have Ben and her being, kind of reconnecting. Like for him, she's dead. It's just kind of an odd dynamic. Yeah, it's more interesting for sure. Smiley's a little bit better. The human characters are kind of not under a boot heel in this one, really.
It's the rebellion, isn't it? So you get kind of it's more relatable, I think. Yeah. And Cisco gets a bit of a power fantasy of everyone fancying him kissing everyone. Like he gets to kiss Terry and Nana and Jennifer. Like just everyone gets under his thing. Doesn't kiss Tuvok though. Missed opportunity. Oh, Can you imagine the crossover we always wanted? But I agree. I think it's definitely a better episode. I think it's a bit smarter. I'm wondering if it's because it's Cisco as the lead versus Kira and Bashir, who are both, like there's like 2 primaries and 10 secondaries, right? Like it's Cisco and then sort of the week. But I wonder because he's more the lead, they allow them to go further in on it being serious versus silly. I don't know. I think I've always been of two minds with Smiley. If he's, is it good? He's just a good guy, or is it because he's not very different, right? Like,
yeah, he's very much like our O'Brien.
Like, is that interesting or is that dull? Not boring, but dull. Because he's very. There's no acting challenge there. He's just playing. What do you think about that? Because that was a distinct choice I made.
I think it's interesting to kind of have that little bit of a twist. Not everybody is the exact opposite of their selves in our universe. Because it's basically the same character, just different circumstances. So he has to do a few things that he might not necessarily want to do.
And in fairness, as a case study, you could argue it's really a good thing because now you've seen, you have the Kirk in TOS who's just an absolute monster dick. With a very small dick, probably. And then you have Spock, who's very similar, just more brutal. Sulu, who's very different in very different personality, and then you have Smiley, who is very similar. So it does. I think Vedic Brile. No, he's not. There's someone else in it who's quite similar. I guess Jennifer's not that different. So it's good to see a bit of variation, because if everyone was evil, it would be cliche.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can have some nice mirror with a bit of an edge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I prefer that for sure. Instead of literally everything is just the exact opposite of our timeline.
And then it almost says, why is the TOS Enterprise the same crew? Because they are all as brutal in that verse to be able to earn themselves onto the Enterprise, versus other people who aren't that good at being bad, who don't quite reach the same high ranking like, those in this. So I would say this is, for me, a B. So I think it's more fun than the C, and it has more little good ideas that I think stand out, and it might be my favourite then of them all, because I like the Ferengi one. That's fun, but it's not got as much like core mirror stuff. I don't particularly love the Regent Worf giant ship stuff, because it's just a bit cliche. I think it's my favourite. We'll see, right? I think, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, B's fair. Marco, $5. LOL, my mistake. I meant improbable cause, and the die is cast.
That was on you. Alright, back to improbable cause. Part 1 of the let's attack the Founder's homeworld plan. Now, do you remember watching that for the first time? Because I kind of do.
I don't remember it for the first time, no.
I remember thinking, that's a bold play. And Romulans, which is cool, Romulan bridges and new uniforms and such. But yeah, what do you think this episode's about?
I know, you go first.
Okay.
I'm scrolling through.
Yeah, so a guy comes to that's a Red Dwarf there, comes to D-Jo's9 saying, I think I know something about your past, whatever. No, it's about okay, no, I don't know. That's not what I have no idea what the first plot line is. No idea. But then he goes with Garrick for some reason. Okay, I thought about him finding his founder people, but that's happened earlier. No idea. But I guess there's Romulan stuff. You know what? I've no idea what happened to the first half an hour. No clue. None of that rings any sort of bell, only when they get to the end bit, but that's the part 2. Okay, it's losing some points in my regard then, because none of it's memorable. Until the last 15%. And then you get a Cardassian on Romulan ship with full sets, and it's his dad, who's not his dad, who is his dad, maybe, I don't know. And then he says, join us to shoot the Dominion. And then part 2 is memorable. Wow, this part just reduced my rankings. What do you think of this episode now you're as equally not at all remembering any of the plot?
I remember that, Odo meets some shady guy in a cave at some point.
That's a Romulan, yeah.
An operative. Pass information on to Garrick. And we get Garrick talking to his old nanny, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Who then we see last season. Which is a great,
cool.
We now know it calls forward.
Is this the same actress?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the plan is to take the Cardassian and Romulan forces into the Gamma Quadrant and take out the Founder's homeworld. That's all I remember.
Yeah, and specifically the Obsidian Order and the Tal Shiar, which is a really interesting way because they have obviously both been seen in previous episodes, but for the two subsects to work together is interesting. Now we don't know the twist yet, but it's a damn lot of twists as the sort of the start of the plan to invade the Alpha Quadrant. You can't really get smarter than the Dominion in this episode as the setup. But yeah, I thought this episode had it be that that this person had information about Odo's planet, but that doesn't mean a thing because that already happened in the first episode. They would have went there. So I don't remember what happened. Maybe it's about the location of the actual homeworld, And that's why Garrett, but they would already have that because their fleet was moving. So I don't remember any of that first bit. What happens, guys? Because that's kind of worrying, isn't it?
Oh, Garrett blows up his shop, I guess. To get Odo to investigate. Turns out Tane was prepared to unretire. And Auburn Tane, yes.
So is it that he wants to like reach out to his old man, or they found proof that he was still alive, even though we saw him last season?
Don't recall.
Yeah, for some reason this episode reminds me of the two-parter in TNG we just looked at with Worf and the Klingon Romulan planet. Part 1 is entirely different to Part 2. Remember it for Part 2, which is where the stuff happens. Because that's one. Yeah, guys, what are we missing? No, they don't, Mello. That's next episode. So I got to give this a D for being entirely unmemorable until the last 5 minutes. And everything's in Part 2. Because I certainly enjoy Seymour based on the fact I can't tell you anything in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. Because Part 2's
awesome.
Got a lot of memorable moments, especially with like Garrick torturing Odo and stuff. So, yeah, I'll put it at a D then, I guess.
Damn. Improbable cause. Odo begins an investigation after a bomb destroys his shop. So he didn't do it himself.
Yeah. An explosion in Garrick's clothing store leads Odo and Garrick to set out to find an ex-Obsidian Order mastermind in Auburn Tane on Garrick's hunch that Tane may also be an assassin's target. But they are intercepted en route by a Romulan ship carrying Tane as a passenger. Cool.
I was going to set up the episode. And we've got, 2.5 million. We need to spend 1.5 in part 2. So you've got 0.5 in this part. As cheap as possible. Well, there you go. Disagree, let us know. And tell us where we're going next in this pantheon of season 3. Because this is the one, right? This is the one where stuff starts to get good.
Yeah, Garrick did destroy his own shop, yes, Marco. Hit like, guys. 28 of you here, 20 likes. And go vote on the poll. 24 votes currently. Which is better two-parter in season 3? The Search, just finding the Dominion, or future, well, past tense, time travel issues.
Yeah. So many interesting episodes. And a Stargate guest star. I'm sure you remember. I'm sure I know which one that is from the famous. Yeah. Yes. Good. I'll throw in one that people might not throw in because I don't remember what it is. And I was surprised because I thought that's a cool visual, but I do not remember it. Something about in Bashir's brain and him being old. Don't know what this one is.
Yeah, what's the name of this episode?
Distant Voices.
Okay.
He's getting progressively older throughout the episode. He's being chased by some sort of demon. I remember that. In a... I thought you might remember this joke. It's quite weird. I like this whole episode, but...
Yeah, there's an alien that, like, uses some kind of, like, on him that... don't remember the reasoning for it, though. The alien's got a good look. I don't remember, my God. even scrolling through.
So I do remember it.
I do too.
But
everybody's, yeah, Deep Space Nine's kind of deserted. Quark's hiding from something. He's terrified. And
are they all representatives of his brain? Like, they all are a character trait. As they die, he gets weaker.
Yeah, they're all aspects of his psyche, yeah.
I remember liking that, because you do think, like I remember the first time watching it, that you can't find them. And then he does find them, and then they act really well. It's a good scene. Mm-hmm. And then they're getting... And it's fun, because he's like, this meta. He's like, oh, well, you're not really real, so I can be honest with you all, and help, and Garrick is a suspicion, which I think is why he survives last. Or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like his aging makeup. Done a good job to mess up his face. I feel like I would love this one. Why is it not striking me as a memorable one, like as a proper episode? Is that just me, guys, or is that the episode?
Yeah, because he's in a coma, and these are all like parts of his psyche that are trying to keep his brain active. Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I think Dan's right. I think the alien was trying to steal some kind of medical gel and Bashir walked in. Yeah, I think it was that simple. It's the power that makes it a special episode, not the reason for it. Yeah, just an excuse for an in-your-brain episode.
Bashir is viciously attacked by a Lanthane raiding his supplies. When Bashir comes to, everything seems amiss. The station is abandoned and wrecked. A few members of the crew can be found are acting wildly out of character, and Bashir's age is increasing rapidly. That doesn't really answer the question, though, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does. I remember really liking it, but like in a gentle way. Yeah.
The whole episode builds this big fight in Bashir's brain. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember being at least a C.
Yeah, this one reminds me of the one that takes place in Sloane's head and Sloane's dying, which is a fantastic episode. I love that concept.
Yeah. It's just odd it's not as memorable as it probably could be. Interesting. Alright, well there you go. If you're happy for a C, it does look fun. That's where we're going to go next. Or nowhere. To you guys. And no S's or A's yet. So maybe it's the worst season. I don't know, right?
It's not at all.
Well, the chart will determine. Let me tie it up. Are there any S's? Are there any S's that you think, that's going to be an easy question and answer kind of S?
Yeah, I think there's at least one S for sure. Lots of A's, I'm pretty sure, as well. Looking at these. Yeah.
Some good guest stars. Or just reads of the fact that we've got in these notes, you've got Kira playing Cardassian and Odo playing Curzon. That's two pretty fun change character sort of motifs. And Cisco playing an even more badass 2014
Gabriel Bell.
Yep, who is not afraid to pump that shotgun. We get Moogie for the first time. We get Cleon Bride. We get another Zek, I guess. No, Is the Nagazek? Grand Nagus.
Is he a Zek?
Is his name? Is his name Zek?
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess he's in every season. I thought it was introduced in season 1 and he's been every season so far. That's sometimes the advantage of doing like a screen cap. You see the guest star and it's like what situation they find themselves in, etc. Oh, and Ian Magell as well. So 2 different TNGers. That's one I wonder if you're on like or not.
And Marco throws in $5 and says, "Facets, my favorite episode of the season."
Thank you, Marco. And that, I believe, is the Curzon one.
Yes, it is.
It's a good name for an episode. Summarize the episode, because I think we mentioned this in previous ones as well. And guys, put in for your next one, because we do want to talk about more of these episodes. Where is it?
For some reason, Jadzia's all her past hosts. Well, no, it's not. It's not a medical reason. It's a way for her to experience them and get to know them better. Is her past hosts come out, and basically, her friends take on the persona of those people, so that she can kind of get to know them a little bit better in a different way than she does with the normal Trill thing. It's how I would describe it. And yeah, you get a really good Curzon. Odo does a really good job with that, and he doesn't really want to go back, even though they have to. But yeah, it is a ritual that they go through so they can experience their past selves, and everybody volunteers to take on one of the persona, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I remember it being, because I believe, again we're going out of order, I believe this is the season, because I did skim earlier as I was finding pictures, that she finds a past host who's a murderer in this season.
Yes.
And so this is the payoff already to that, where she now has access to a pretty, a ritual that exists. I think it's like a festival thing. It's like you're able to do this every once in a while. And from re-skimming, it is rather adorable how she's convincing them all, because it's quite a serious thing to do. Get your body and take on a host. You have no control over them, who they are, what they are, and they all agree. And obviously Lita, she's here. It might be her first appearance in terms of a main narrative. We haven't got there yet. And everyone gets to have fun because, of course, they're not playing even 1% of their own character. Kira Nerys is not playing Kira. She's in Kira's costume, but she's playing 100% new character.
Yeah.
And they're all having fun. And given they're inventing all but 2 whole cloth, I'm assuming they said, right, what can Nana do that's different? Like, how can we push them as actors? Like having Cork be really just gentle and nice. A pleasant person, right? Like, they played some reverse stereotypes. And then to have Siska be the baddie's fun, because he's already a bit menacing sometimes anyway. Let him go full psychopath is in the eyes, man. He's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Ah.
Yeah, it's a ritual called the Zientara.
Yeah, Zientara.
And it's a rite of closure. It's a ritual where they get a chance to actually meet their previous hosts. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Odo is obviously the special thing here, but to have, they've said a few times, that his ability to phase shift and mimic humans, you compare to other races who can do it perfectly. It's entirely a him thing, right? The female changeling doesn't do it on purpose, because screw you all. But obviously all the ones that mimic humans in the series can do it flawlessly, to the point of whatever. So the fact that all it took was another entity's energy, now he can have great hair, now he can have, it's a better mask, right? But it's still in keeping with it being... It's a good way of doing it, and given that we see there him when he's also being him older, it's interesting to see the better version where the original mask is intentionally worse. And I would like to have actually seen the prosthetic for this. I feel like I've seen a lot more Renee. So I wonder how physically how much of a mask there was compared to the original version. It's still very effective as... And is this the most we see of Curzon? I guess it must be, as a character.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Is there any other plots? And do they say that? I think they say that there's no repercussion. I think to them being out of her body.
Yeah, no. The memories are telepathically transferred via Guardian, and it's just a temporary thing. But I remember it being a problem that Curzon didn't want to go back, and then he kind of capitulates and says, because Jadzia says, "I want my memories back," and he's like, "Yeah."
So I think they say there's no like actual death reason, but you're removing a literal part of the symbiont, and therefore the Jadzia feels empty in a way that's hard to express because it's just innate. So it's more of a you're hurting me mentally and not who I really am. And at the end, which I forgot entirely because it's just out of the blue in the sense of what episode it's in, Nog going to the academy, which is a hell of a thing when you consider where he was in season 1. And I know that Aaron really, really liked that as a thing. And even I asked for the prune. No, he doesn't ask for prune juice yet because that's no. What does he ask for? The drink. The prune juice is obviously Worf. Root beer.
Root beer, yeah.
And Cork's like, yeah, stupid. Whatever relationship he is to him.
Yeah.
Nephew. There you go. All right, so we're gonna give. What's your gut for this one? Because it's pretty interesting, damn memorable, great performances.
Let's see. This one would probably be an A for me. It is fun seeing them have fun with different roles. So, yeah.
So I'm torn for this one because if we're comparing per season, is this A for this season? Is this one of the best of the season? Because there are some better ones this season, or is the season stronger and therefore it's a B in relation to the season? If that makes sense. Or does it still raise above as one of the best of the season, either which way?
I'm happy to put it wherever you want.
No, I think A is good because now seeing this is definitely better than the Mirror one. It's doing a lot more with a lot less. As in they're doing less, but they're doing way more narrative. You've learned a lot more about the people.
Yeah, it's a good bottle show.
It's a very good bottle show, which you need to use the cannon to let them out of the bottle. Oh, Jadzia's brain.
Yes.
I know. We went there. I'll throw in a maybe S. So steal it from somebody. The O'Brien time travel episode, where he'd be watching the station Kablooey and Kablooey and Kablooey. I do not know the name of it because these are not names I remember. I assume, yeah, Visionary, I assume would be the one.
Visionary, I think, yeah.
Now, yeah, so I did watch one rather recently. Roman's come on board. O'Brien is doing a thing. Oh, yes, the first darts episode. And then he phases and sees himself talk to himself, or, talk to someone else, and it's very, very early. They set up the frame. And we do experience, I believe, both versions of most of the versions of him. Like, he catches up with himself, I believe. Yeah, we see that which is fun because it means you're not like it's a time travel episode without being a time travel episode, because it is, but it's in its own linear small space. But also because it is so small, meaning a few hours, you can kill everybody, but still have the knowledge of you got a bit of time to fix it, but also it's today, right? It's a pretty unique frame for that. And Romans and Klingons. Your thoughts on this episode?
Remember, it's a really good episode. But the minutia of it, I just can't. I'm scrolling through. I'm just not recalling much.
Oh, is that a DS9 problem, or is that because you were binging it problem? Because again, bottle show, right?
It's probably a binging it problem.
Yeah, I remember this one being really uniquely paced. obviously, because they're shifting, but the fact that he's able, because O'Brien's a really tough cookie, and so he is willing to hurt himself and make his condition worse to utilize it to find the solution to the problem of them all dying. So he's a very brave guy in it, but also once he starts doing time jumps, the future version of him knows he's doing time jumps, so he can then talk to himself in a useful way, versus earlier in the plot when both hymns are confused. So there's a very interesting progression of like, it's really, really unique in that respect. Yeah, they actually blew up DS9. It's a very, cause I believe it sabotages why it blows up. I believe it's a Romulan, it might actually be the full Romulan plot. But yeah, pretty sure it is. Yeah, really, really clever episode, this.
Yes, let's see.
Yeah, see Romans and Klingons together is pretty rare. Good to see.
Ryan begins to experience a series of apparent trips into the not-too-distant future when he experiences such events as the sight of his own death and the evacuation and destruction of DS9. The whole crew soon takes notice. Yeah, I remember really enjoying it and being confused at first. But
yes,
you're supposed to be, but that's the point. And I remember really enjoying it, but honestly, going through, I can't. The Klingons are there as well. Yeah, I don't remember much about it. Sorry.
Is DS9 the show you binge versus say TNG, or is TNG because you watched it more meaningfully when you were younger? Because I mean, it's interesting how this is another one where they aren't quite standing out. Is that, you know, is it, where TNG was mostly fine? You just binged DS9.
I grew up watching TNG, so and they're also episodic. They feel more episodic than Deep Space Nine to me. And yeah, Deep Space Nine I never really got into until like 10 years ago, which I watched it back then. And then I just rewatched it like last year or the year before with Sylvia again. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I've never binged these, ever. I don't know if I have time to binge, so they're all a bit more separate. That's why I appreciate Stargate came out when it did, because it was really living every week, every episode, waiting for the next season. Every episode is super distinct, versus, gosh, all the modern shows, yeah, it blends together a bit, because you're able to enjoy them as a story, but not the minutia. Although most things aren't episodic anymore. So I'd say it's a solid A. I think it's a really good... And this could work in Voyager or TNG or Enterprise or Discovery or Picard, but Cole again gives it a really nice vibe, and they go pretty hardcore with it. They don't hold your hand. So if you get it, excellent. If you don't, maybe it's not quite as good. But I certainly got it, and it's definitely a good Trek episode. If I'd written, I'd be very, very happy. Oh, the plan was to destroy DS9 and steal a wormhole. Yes, I remember the Romulans are like, hey, let's do some friend stuff. And it's like, yeah, you guys are booby trappers. Orcs. Any you want to bring in or wait for the next submission?
Yeah, just give me a second here. Trying to decide which one. Good one. I just can't remember the name of the episode.
Yeah.
It's this one.
Yes, that one. The totally Kira episode.
It's as simple as Kira and Odo are in a cave. They're stranded.
Heart of Stone.
Kira,
makes sense.
Kira has stepped in something which is now starting to envelop her, and
keeps going.
Anyway, Odo admits what he feels about her, and turns out it's not actually Kira. It's been the female changing all along to find out more about Odo, essentially. And be a little bit of a shit, so.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's a good episode. I really enjoy it. It's a cave episode. I mean, we learned from Lord Esses are good, so.
Yeah.
It's also the one where Nog is asking Sisko if he'll put in a good word for him to get him into the academy. And Sisko's very reluctant.
Well, it's radical, right?
Well, yeah. So, yeah.
It's a very narratively important episode, but you don't know it at the time.
Yes, because it branches off to the Nog thing, which is really important, as well as the whole Odo and Kira.
But you don't even know until the end, because it is just an of the week, Kira's in danger, and then it isn't, and it is just another Nog and Jake storyline until it isn't. So it's actually it's better in like a serialized rewatch. I always remember thinking this is a bold choice of them to kind of undo an episode, because that's what it is, right? Odo loses everything in the episode, but lets you kind of go further. But Nana really gives it her all. Like, you believe she thinks she's going to die. I do recall that. And, I mean, passive storytelling, but the fact that, you know, the twist is it's this film changeling. The fact that she's able to pretend to be... Because they don't steal memories, right? She's able to successfully pretend to be Kira, flawlessly, and then is able to pretend to be a rock, which is scannable, around her fake body, and progress that. And here's Odo, I can be a bird sometimes. And then you've got this other it shows the pure level of bullshit these guys can do. I mean,
and mist. They can turn into fog as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, that disparity, like, that's a really clever way of showing it, that even if you don't think about it in the moment, it's like, that changing all of that. And Odo can barely make a face.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, still, I've never quite bought the Odo Kira love story, because it always seems very one-sided, which is fine, puppy dog, right? But maybe a little bit early for this to be the thing. But obviously we won't address it for another 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years.
I mean, it's kind of been a thing on Odo's part since the beginning. So yeah. But yeah, she admits to loving him in this one, and he's like, "What?" Yeah.
Well, yeah, as you said, it's a very clever recce. You know, let's test the waters. How far will our friend Odo go to betray us potentially, or go for the solids? Because, you know, those solids be scum. And he'll do anything for one. This isn't good. Maybe we should plague him with something. What? Maybe we should assassinate him. What? Nothing. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's definitely got, like I said, because it has those last act twists, both narratively and character-wise, it elevates it. And it's meant to be sort of a gentle episode. What are you thinking?
For me, it's probably a C. It's just, I mean, they're both really good stories. I love Sisko's resistance to like, no, you don't have a really good reputation, so I'm not gonna like what are you playing at here? He always thinks that, you know, he's getting deceived. Maybe a B, actually. So I like the Nog Sisko scenes for sure. The Kira and Odo ones are also well enough done, but it's just the ending of that story that's the best part. Let's see. I would say probably a B for this one.
I would also say a B. I think because of the twist, it elevates it. And I think at the time, it might have been a C. But knowing the evolution, the integration, the setup, and the take your time natural, I think it shows to be a B. And I guess also just the balls of the female changeling, because of course, just, you know, like, as we see on the episode, you can just shoot them and kill them. they ain't exactly invulnerable. So you are risking everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they shoot the not Martok and then blow them up. So, I mean, I guess there was a lot of disruptors, but still.
Yeah. All right.
Is there? That's interesting because as they say, the hard to get into Starfleet. Is there a like jump the queue in it, or is it because he's an unusual alien and he wants to? They take him because it's quite difficult to get into the academy. I don't think Nog's scores would be high enough. No offense to Nog, but slightly offense, but he's not book smart, so.
He says it in the episode. He needs because he's a Ferengi and not a member of the Federation. He says it in the episode why he needs a sponsor.
But I mean, he had to like get past the thousands of people. I don't know if Nog was smart enough to get past thousands of people to. But I'm wondering if they said like your recommendation gets me into the academy, sort of a skip the queue. I can't remember. I think they do address it. I just can't remember how.
See, the thing is, a lot of people go to Starfleet, but not everybody can get into officer training.
Well, yeah, I mean the unlisted.
Yeah. So I don't know. They do address it in the episode, though. I just can't remember the exact specifics of it.
I did recall. And bring one that I also don't remember. Can I get those out the way? Jadzia and Guy, who are flirty.
Meridian. It's a fucking awful episode.
Excellent.
This is where the planet phases out and only shows up every 80 years.
Okay.
And it's only there for like 12 days.
Okay.
And she falls in love with this guy and wants to go with him to fade into their... It's really fucking stupid.
Okay.
It's a love story. It's very rushed and everybody kind of agrees, oh yeah, go. And then she can't because her energy doesn't match the whatever. Like she can't do it. She can't go with him and be with him. So it's like, I love you so much, I'm going to go and, you know, sacrifice all my friends and see them in 80 years maybe if they're still alive and be with you, because time doesn't pass for them when they're in the thing. And only every 80 years they come out for like 12 days or whatever the hell. I forget the exact amount. She's willing to do all this for him and says goodbye to everybody. And then as the planet starts to fade, she starts to die and they have to get her out. And then she's like, hey, I love that guy, but I'm over this now, apparently. So it's a stupid fucking episode. It's an interesting premise, science-wise, that this planet just appears out of nowhere every 80 years. But it's not a good episode. It's not super enjoyable for me.
Yeah, it's ringing all the bells, but not because it's memorable, but because it's so silly.
Yeah. It's such a rushed love story. And the other side plot in this is Jeffrey Combs is in it. So I think it's his first appearance in Deep Space Nine as anything. And he is an alien that wants to make a computer program, a holodeck program of Kira. So Quark has to get a scan of Kira. Yep. And she's against it. She doesn't. She's like, "What are you doing, Quark?" And then they end up making a program with like a sexy body and Quark's head on the thing. So, yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how I remember this one for some reason so well.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, as I'm scrolling, that's like everything you're saying. I'm feeling it in the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many episodes.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, there are many episodes where you buy, lowercase buy, right? That the character can fall in love with somebody instantly. Why does this one not work? Is it because the two of them don't have really the chemistry that you'd want to see? Because
she's a symbiote, first of all, which means if anything goes wrong, like, why would you risk it, first of all? Second of all, I mean, yes, I get it. The symbiote should at least experience new things. Maybe but you've had how many lifetimes? You've been in love multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
why would you be so quick to fall in love? I guess to accept new ideas and to experiment and see what this is like to do this. Sure, I get it, but it just seems very summer love kind of crush vibes going on, and it's from Jadzia. It just doesn't work for me because she's smarter than that. It's very much like a teen romance kind of vibe, and it just doesn't work for me.
Would have been better if it was Kira.
No.
There's another main lead ladies, doesn't really work. Would have been better if it was Kai Wynn or Kai Parker.
No.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work as a concept. If they'd spent more than a few days with them, maybe. But for them to hit it off and be like love at first sight and throw everything out the window for this person that you just met, I don't know. I don't buy it.
I mean, hell, had she done this, she could have been in Discovery Season 4 and 3.
Perfect, yeah.
Every 80 years, a few days, yeah.
But she'd be giving up her Starfleet commission, all the things that Jadzia trained so long and hard for. It doesn't make sense. So
I'm extemporizing. I would think that the symbiont would have learned to appreciate the friendships along the way, because it appreciates they die. So abandoning everyone they'll ever have known, and would feel like more of a give, right? You know. So where do you want to place it? This is a blank slate of. I remember thinking it was odd.
I mean, the plot on DS9 is funny. There's some really funny moments with that, because the guy threatens Quark's life. Quark owes him, but it's probably got to be a D for me. I just don't really enjoy this episode.
So hyper memorable versus the first third of the other one, but not in the best way. Right?
Yeah, for me, it's just not an enjoyable episode to watch.
Yeah, I will trust you on that, and be interested to watch it when we get there. Interesting. It is interesting what. As we're going through a season, there's quite a lot of Jadzia centric. They like her as an actress. You know, there's a lot of she has significant roles in these things.
Yeah.
But you know, when you've got, it's kind of like 7 of 9. You've got a pretty lady who also can do all of the science and all of the acting. In Star Trek, those are 3 zeitgeists, right?
Yeah.
If you can get them. Alright, guys, do you want to go anywhere else or not? We like the interaction.
Dan Ben says it's similar to the TNG Season 5 with that community that lives in a dome, and Deanna with that guy. Yeah, it's a perfect... What's the name of that episode? Anyway, yes. Yes, similar concept. But I buy Deanna falling in love faster than Jadzia for sure, because she's an empath. So
yeah. And she's mildly gullible. Who listens to people all day. You know, she has to sort of be trusting in a nice way. There's a Jadzia who has the male, the female, the old, the young perspectives, the artist, the murderer, all of it. Yep. The blood debt guy. You know, if you've had a Klingon blood oath, you've really lived. You know. Dear me.
Hi guys, anybody want to super chat in for an episode? There's a lot of ones still to go, some really good ones. Can somebody super chat in and give us an S to talk about, or an F? Either end of the spectrum. I'd be interested to find out.
I think I can end the poll though. I asked you all, which is a better 2-parter, and a 60% win is the first episodes versus 40% with the middle episodes, the future one, which I would agree with. I know you're not particularly fond of those, so I think you would side with them on that. Let me see if there's another poll I can think of based on this season.
That's pretty. Look at the board. I mean, that's pretty even.
Yeah, that's.
It's just kind of like. Eh.
And all for different reasons as well.
Yeah.
You know, and actually some proper episodics.
Yeah.
And boy, only one episode of the set that is different, like visually different, and it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like I get the Bajoran is what it is, but they could at least make it look different to the Cardassian stuff, like color palette wise.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. It's like a steamboat ship. It's fine, but alright. What poll should we do? Okay, go on.
He's got one, guys. So hit the like button. 27 likes. That could be 30 if possible. I mean, this is a viewer's choice, so you guys need to kind of direct the flow of traffic here. So super chat in with an episode, and by all means, go vote on the poll that he's now creating, which I'll read in just a second. I don't know if you guys aren't going to participate. I guess we'll just sit here and look at the screen.
I'm now fighting the word cap.
Oh. Okay. It's always a pain when you got to do that.
Okay. And yes, please. Spellings might not be the best, but they're all fictional alien words, so.
All right, let's see. Was it right to move away from Bajoran stories into Dominion ones, or do you wish it stayed Bajor ones? Dominion, yes, please. Bajor, classic all the way.
That's an interesting question.
There's absolutely no spelling mistakes at all.
I don't believe you.
No. Actually, there's none. So I'm actually shocked.
Oh.
Considering going in saying there might be lots of spelling mistakes, but whatever. No, they're all exactly correct.
Oh. I thought I was misspelled Bajoran at the end, because Bajoran is a...
There might be an I at the end of Bajoran somewhere, but I think that's fine.
Bajorian.
Bajorian.
Dear me.
I don't know. So yeah, no other episodes this season apparently. So
8. There's a writer's strike, right? They can only afford 8.
Sure.
And they were across the board. I'll throw in 1, but
Oh, well, why don't we just throw them all in and just start talking about them all?
Because that wouldn't help us do the channel.
That's what I mean. Like, why are we bringing this in? It's their choice. So what do we got to talk about? Second Skin, probably that's absolutely an S tier episode.
That's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah. Where they not really tricking Kira. They're trying to get back at some higher up Cardassian guy. But yes, it is a very interesting episode for sure. Very well acted. Confusing as hell. You're like, what the fuck? Apparently this guy thinks that she's his daughter. His daughter's actually long dead. But they are using her as a tool. And even to the point where there's a message from her saying, I know you're gonna be confused, but this is what happened. You are me. Like, there's some really interesting plays that they go through here. I don't know if she was in fact looked exactly like this lady, like this daughter. That's the implication I get, because her dad even really buys into it.
Also, they find a Bajoran lady looks like Kira, which is interesting.
Yeah. And she actually likes this guy at the end. Like, she feels bad for him. And he comes back later in another season.
I was going to say, I thought she kind of calls him dad at the end in the other episode, and it's really sweet.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I don't remember, like, obviously it's the same episode as Face of the Enemy with Troy, but not, right?
Yeah.
In that one, you knew what was happening. It's about her tricking and raising the challenge, and I'm struggling to remember how much of this is, like you say, them tricking, because we know as the audience she's obviously Kira.
Yeah.
But I remember them trying to trick you into thinking she's actually a Cardassian, but that's a weird thing to try and do, given that she's obviously a Bajoran. But what are they trying to say that... I can't remember how far they go into that, because you're right, they have a Kira look-alike. They have a message from her, but given the fact there's, holodecks, I think hard to make a visual of someone saying something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how far do they go to try and convince you? I feel like she does feel something near the end, and then...
Yeah, she gets to the point where she is believing that it's in fact true. Because there's just so much evidence.
Yeah. And obviously, it all works as an episode because the dad doesn't know.
Yeah.
The dad's on her side either way.
Yeah. And it's his political adversaries that have set all this up to make him announce that he's a traitor. I forget exactly the fine line there, but yeah, they want him to admit something, and he does, and he's ousted by the Cardassian government as a result. So that's why he's on Deep Space Nine at the end, and he's still hoping that his daughter Ilya is alive on Bajor.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And obviously Garrick shows up at the end and she gets to be on... Is it Cardassia or a Cardassian colony? Because, boy, to go through all the borders will be quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think what makes this work, though, is that when you look at these people in full face prosthetic, it's so big and bold, but sort of tastefully done. You're not thinking, that's people in makeup, even though it's pretty substantial. But because there are so much going on, you have that detraction from these aren't humans. So then seeing Kira in a very good makeup, they obviously put a lot of time into making that really the right level of detail, because she's not lost any of her.
Mm.
But if they are saying, implying whatever, that she really was a Cardassian, if they really are saying that, it'd have to be understandable that you could modify the DNA to go between the two looks. So it can't be like as big as the males, for example.
Mm.
But is it sort of just the acting that makes it great? So I'm scrolling and there's no...
It's some good political stuff going on. Like they kidnapped Kira because she resembled this guy's daughter, and there's something going on where they're trying to get her away, and he's got to betray the government to do it, and that's when his political adversaries come in at the end. I forget exactly what the political thing is, but it's really great because, like, in this one broad stroke, they unmasked the Obsidian Order, unmasked a traitor, and shatters like a dissident movement kind of thing. But yeah, it's well written, it's well acted, it's a good psychological episode.
Yeah,
it's a good political episode.
Because I remember thinking in the last bit that from a woman that murdered how many hundreds of Cardassians? It could be in the thousands, directly with a phaser rifle mortar, not looking at phasered ships. Right? She was that sort of person. Right? For her to believably admit that she likes a Cardassian without any other layers of bullshit. And it's not Stockholm Syndrome, even though it could be, that fine line of performance where you believe she once you can like an enemy, you humanize in a way that's super unique. That's what makes the end. And then she grows in a way that you could never have, like end episode her where she's on Cardassia in uniform, without this sort of story.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like scrolling, when we've had some recent episodes like last season and in TNG, when we had, of course, the torture one, and you have the daughter, and saying they're not human, that told you about the culture. And you had the trial episode last season and about the culture. This episode, I'm remembering being a lot softer to Cardassians, to be more like us, but with...
Yeah.
But those things were really interesting. I wonder if they thought we couldn't quite continue on that level of radicalness, because it's like, yeah, too much? I don't know. Like, I just remember being softer.
Yeah, it definitely humanizes the Cardassians. They're just like us. They love their families. They love their daughters. Yeah, you're right.
But without the extra, bullshit. that's the,
Yeah, and it's thanks to Garrick as well that they figure all this out and get there in time to save her. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good episode. It's, like I said, it's well written, fantastically acted. And it definitely shows you an insight into the Cardassians, and it's a good turning point for Kira as well, as you said.
It's probably the turning point, really.
Yeah.
And maybe also reflects a catharsis of, if she can come to terms with it and move on, the show can come to terms with it and move on. Right? As opposed to just now the Dominion taking over, a lot of these plots now pushing forward, not just the same Marquis, whatever. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I think you jumped in and started saying S. Do you maintain the S after all this discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I really do. And I'm not a huge fan of the Bajoran thing or
Kira.
But no, I got to give them credit. This is really well done on everybody's part. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it elevates the species. Well, it diversifies the species so much. It really messes with the characters. And again, the fact that we shouldn't do this normally, but the fact that we know that she will like him later on. And am I remembering that he dies in her arms?
Mm-hmm. He comes to the station and yeah, I think he might actually get killed too, or he's dying from something, and I can't remember the specifics of that.
But it's a good. If that memory is true, then that's a really strong thing. Yeah.
I think he's dying. She's by his bedside, and she's kind of learned some things about him, and kind of gets a little mad at him because he's not as good as she thought he was.
Yeah, but then I believe that he's delirious and he calls her by the other name, and then she just accepts it and lets him have peace, saying it was me the whole time, and it's really sweet. And it's a small part of the episode, but that's the fact that she's willing to lie to him in a nice way again, because she could hurt this guy last minute. F Cardassia, she'll be nice.
Yeah.
And Devra, so his summaries are: they tried to convince Kira that she was undercover Cardassian agent. Turns out it was an operation to reveal the real agent's father. Yes, and none of us to the actress who plays Kira is claustrophobic. Putting on that makeup was a challenge. They originally wanted it to be left up in the air if she was or was not a spy, but another producer stepped in and stopped that. Yes, that would quite radically alter everything about the character down to the most fundamental level.
Yes.
And they could have done in Voyager then, because that would have been the same thing but different. There's other Bajoran spies. Well, I wonder if that was the inspiration then, Seska. Because that was that, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Although she's a better Cardassian, because she's a dick.
Yes. Yes.
Although Kira's quite mean. I don't know, she has just softer makeup. Kira's Cardassian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Last half an hour. Any episodes you want to look at? Any S's, F's, D's, C's, B's, or A's? Maybe people just don't like season 3. And maybe people like season 1, 2 more.
Maybe everybody's busy today. Maybe we should call it here and revisit this next week.
I mean, there's definitely enough to talk about.
I'm season 3, part 2 next week because nobody's participating. So.
Plenty left.
Yeah. 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, like 20 episodes left. Ish.
Yeah, ish. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think we'll call it there, guys, because
we need some. Yeah, we need.
For viewer's choice, there's nothing going on. So
yes. Or join us on Sunday.
Oh yes, Wrath of Khan.
Which you would think would be good, unless it's got worse than us, 30 years. 40 years? 50 years?
I don't think 50. I think that's pushing it.
82. How old are you in 82?
In 82, I was 8.
43 years ago. Sure.
All right. Well, we will continue season 3 next week on Tuesday, but we'll leave it there for now. Thank you guys for watching, and join us on Sunday if you can. It'll be a good time and drunk yard, so you can have some fun.
Yeah.
So.
We'll talk about the fight next time because it didn't come up even once.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one. And
have a good
weekend.
One. Yes.
Until then, he's Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley, and that's Ungo T Cisco, as you can see.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.